Movies have been around for a very long time, over 100 years. With how easy it is to access films and how real they seem, it's hard to believe that they were any different from what they are today. But films weren't always this way. Films used to be much lower quality and not as easy to access. Movies began as an idea by two men back in the 1890s.
The first films were completely silent and in black and white, nothing like today's movies. The first moving pictures were simply clips that were only 20 to 30 seconds long, sort of like today's YouTube videos. Thomas Edison and William Dickinson would film short clips of everyday people with special talents on a device called the kinetogram. Then they would insert the rolls of film into a device called the kinetoscope, where people could pay 5 cents to watch these moving pictures. Anyone who saw these movies thought it was magic to see the pictures come alive.
At the same time in Europe, the Lumiere brothers were also making short films. They made a device called the cinematograph, which was a recorder as well as a projector. It was light and portable, unlike the kinetograph, so they were able to film outdoors and in faraway places. This gave viewers the opportunity to travel to faraway places they had never seen before.
In 1910, Nickelodeon's the first movie theaters were born. At the same time, movies were getting longer and began to tell stories thanks to the power of editing. Movie makers would take the film, cut and tape segments of the film together to create a story for the audience to enjoy. Films such as A Trip to the Moon and The Great Train Robbery were immensely popular. Since films were without sound, live music would play during the film. The most common was a piano accompaniment.
A revolution in the movie industry was made in 1927 when the film The Jazz Singer was the first of its kind to have synchronized sound along with its moving pictures. Although only sections of the films were in sound, it was considered the first talking picture. Despite the expense and complexity of converting to sound, by the 1930s, most films were using synchronized sound. This began the era of the golden age of film. Even in the midst of the Great Depression, the popularity of movies continued to rise. New genres began to emerge such as horror, gangster, adventure, and musicals. Elaborate movie palaces were also built so that the audiences could escape from reality. President Roosevelt concurred in David Welling's Cinema Houston from Nickelodeon to Megaplex. When the spirit of the people is lower than any other time, it is a splendid thing that just for 15 cents an American can go to a movie and look at the smiling face of a baby and forget all of his troubles.
Also during the Golden Age, Disney emerged into the movie industry, creating animated shorts as well as feature films. His first animated short with sound, Flowers and Trees, became a big hit, especially when it was produced in Technicolor. This captured the eyes of other film producers to create their movies in color. The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind are some of the most popular films to first use color. Technicolor films didn't fully take off until the 1950s since it was too expensive to produce an entire production in color.
In the 1960s, movies began to show more negative exploitation and were criticized for being immoral. According to the Film Ratings website, up until 1968, movies were rated by a system called the Hays Code. The Hays Code authorized movies for distribution based on how moral the film was. In 1966, Jack Valenti was appointed the president of the Motion Picture Association of America. He wanted to replace the Hays Code with a new rating system that was simple and focused on freeing the screen. In 1968, he tossed away the Hays Code and created the Classification and Ratings Administration. With this new system, the movie industry wouldn't approve or disapprove what audiences should see. Instead, it focused on educating the viewers on what type of content was in the movie they were going to see based on the rating. This way, movies were able to be distributed into theaters while freely expressing their content. The ratings have been modified over the years, but are still used to rate all films to this day.
With new computer technology beginning to emerge in the 1970s, filmmakers were able to add more to their films. Computer-generated imaging, also known as CGI, allowed movies to have greater special effects, creating a new world for filmmaking. George Lucas saw the possibilities of this new CGI technology and created the series of Star Wars movies. The Star Wars series used the latest and greatest CGI effects of its time. ComputerStories.net believes it was the inspiration for many following movies that use CGI, such as Superman, the movie, and Tron. When the internet emerged, CGI effects became more realistic. Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park raised the bar for CGI by creating realistic creatures that terrified its audiences. Expectations were met with CGI, leading to the first full-length CGI film, Toy Story. A majority of films made today continue to use CGI effects to create new worlds to make the impossible seem so real.
Today, filmmakers maintain excitement in their movies by incorporating high definition and 3D quality. These advances in technology enhance the visual experience of the audience. Modern technology has also made movies easier to access than ever. You no longer have to drive to the movie theater to see the latest blockbuster or drive to the video store. Thanks to computer technology, movies can be downloaded and streamed from the internet. With businesses like Netflix and Hulu, you no longer have to leave the house to enjoy a film. It's unpredictable what the movie industry will do next, but one thing's for sure, movies are going to be around for a very long time.